You got it.
Yes, and we got sound now. It is
this computer. Travis made me get one.
Wow.
We're at a Valiant family. We're rocking.
Get together, Martin.
We're drinking. Get Valiant's here. Valiant Central Review is here. Valiant Central Podcast. Valiant Watch. Again, going through the introductions. The guy who's on everything, Travis, with Valiant Central Review, Valiant Comics Review, Valiant Central Podcast, Valiant Watch. What's up, everybody?
What's up?
What up?
So
Have a beer. So
we should be live for real now, and people should be able to hear us. So that's a plus. Maybe not. I don't know if I can think of many things worse than to see our faces and not be able to hear anything.
yeah, so we'll do it one way or another. You can either not see us or hear us, but we're gonna make it work somehow. And we're good. We're good. Don says we're good.
Awesome. Well, that's good to know. We're very happy to have everybody joining us in the chat, watching live. We are obviously going to be doing a giveaway, as a lot of people are aware, and we're super stoked to have people joining us. Yeah, the time to, right now there's a lot of crazy stuff going on in the world, and it's nice to kind of come together and get to talk about something we all love in Valiant.
Yep. Yes, it's definitely. And everybody online, thanks for being online with the chat. We appreciate it. We're trying to make it work. This is the most people we've had live. Everybody's staying home from work, so the bandwidth is taken up. But we see what you're typing, and hopefully you guys can hear what we're saying. And it's kind of a great time to get a bunch of awesome people together. And, who's the OG? Only the Valiant? I saw Sean on there, too. So, Travis, thanks for representing VCR, man.
It's an honor, dude.
Yeah, good. And then Valiant Central Podcast, Martin and Ronnie, you guys, it's great to have you guys on board.
To be here.
Good.
This is like the Class A tag team champs.
The LOD.
Hell yeah.
I want to say,
Please don't bring up wrestling to Eric. He gets really offended by it, okay?
all right, my bad. Yeah, that's a real big deal.
Noted.
No, I was going to say that part of the reason why this podcast exists is I used to sit and listen to Valiant Central at work every day.
Oh,
and
thanks, man.
yeah, and that was one of the things that inspired me to start a podcast. I found Josh, we started this, and then we got infinitely better when Hoosier came along.
I'm going to drink.
I think things go hill, right? Because we got inspired by OTV and when that was around the Valiant Podcast. So it's nice.
Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
and it's a Valiant
And
family.
some of the newer guys, yeah, it's Valiant family for sure. And I think some of the newer guys that are doing this now to watch. We're very happy to have you guys.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Yeah, definitely. We just did our 10th episode. We're coming out of Comic Watch and just such a huge fandom behind Valiant. We just saw all these podcasts go in and thought, we got to jump into this. So definitely thanks for having us.
For sure. This is a big...
Dude, that's awesome.
Very, very happy to have you with us.
And, I think today's a good day to kind of get some stuff going, and I'm going to do it right now because a book just came out today, and it's kind of our flagship at Valiant that I know a lot of us love, and that's Exo Manowar. And it's kind of nice to have something like this come out in this time when people are up and down.
There it is.
And I'm sure all of us have got a chance to read it, and, it's great to have it back. I mean, I just want to get people's thoughts. I mean, just run through it, what you guys think, what you guys liked, how you feel about where it's going to go. Travis.
All right. No,
Everybody jump in there.
it's
Here we
fine.
go.
I'll go. So Exo is the first Valiant MacGyver. Exo number 0 in what was it, 93?
Yeah.
So I always tell the story. I hate telling the story, but this cover caught my eye. So that's where I started. It was one of the first chromium bearing covers, and ever since, man, Valiant strong. So I think the new book's great. I love the writer. I love the art. We'll see where it goes.
Dude, that's cool because Exo, the Chromium was my first Valiant cover too, that I got too. So that's
Nice.
awesome to hear. Yeah, I caught that on the shelf, and it was just like, yeah, the things I make fun of people for now, but that's what got me. So yeah.
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
This is a new direction for EXO, but I think that that's something that we've heard from Valiant a few times when they're talking about what Harbinger might be, is that they don't want to do Dysart light. They don't want to do what Dysart already did. And I think that when you do an EXO book, as tempting as it might be to say, they did an amazing job and a lot of people really love the Kint run on it, it would be easy to say, let's try to reproduce that. But instead, I think that they're going in a new direction. They're taking the arc in a new direction. They're making some tweaks here and there, but I think that it's respectful and I think the art is what really stands out to me. The interiors in this book are absolutely gorgeous. So even if the writing half as good as it is, I'd still be pretty stoked on book and looking at these pages.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the thing with EXO Mandalore coming back is like the timing couldn't be more perfect. A lot of the smaller characters like Punk Mambo had some pretty big splashes really early on. The Livewire series. So right now is really when you want to see those guys that first got you into Valiant doing their thing, and like you said, with as Hopeless taking it not away from the source material, but it was just like the perfect combination of like timing and creative team I felt on this book.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well said.
Yeah, I know I had my own reservations about it.
I will say,
Go ahead, Travis.
Sorry, Goose.
No, go ahead.
Okay, what I was going to say is I will co-sign on Eric's comment about the art. It's awesome. Looks great. Super sexy. So that doesn't hurt. It's certainly kind of a new direction for the character. And I guess what I would say is I have had the privilege, as probably you all have, of reading issue 2. And issue 2 really points towards the direction of where this story is going to go. Like, I don't know necessarily if issue 1 did that in the most complete way. There's definitely kind of a quantum leap in terms of plot that happens in issue 2. That kind of answers, I guess, for me, where they're going with this. So that's my take on it.
Yeah,
I think really it's a great direction. And first issue is the dynamic between Arc and the suit that they're really building, and I think that direction is kind of what's going to pull me back into it. It's something new that I really haven't seen in a lot of different series with EXO in the past. And I feel like that's kind of the Hopeless and this creative team's bringing to it.
I'm going to spoil one part of it because it's one where it got me. Is who in Queens just has an extra bedroom for a homeless dude to stay in? I mean, that place is expensive. So that's where I'm trying to come together with it. It's like, you got to make this believable, guys. You can't just have an extra bedroom. It was good. Again, I'm gonna say the same things kind of that everybody said. The art was amazing. I do like that piece, and I think Ruth Redmond. We've seen a lot of her colors recently. When we got the original book from this, it was the black and white, and the color actually did do a lot to this with this art. And so yeah, all the way around. As far as that, there's some little bit of gap holes that I saw within the character that I hope they answer to, and I hope they resolve down the way, and kind of save those for myself for now and see where it goes in the long run. So
yeah, that's fair. I think that what we're all hoping for from this book is a long run, right? And it don't get quite where we're going. I had the opportunity, but I didn't read issue 2 yet because I wanted to just be able to talk about issue 1. So I haven't read that yet. But even if we're in 6, 7, 8, and we're still kind of figuring out where this book is going, that's fine with me, because I want another long run book. I want a book that keeps us coming back to say what really is going to happen next. What direction is this book going to go? I don't that's one of the things I liked about Psylords, to be honest. And hopefully we get something that keeps us coming back for the next issue long enough for this to see some, a bigger number. I love this 50.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the one thing that's kind of hard on this one is that with a book like this, quite a bit different than what we've seen in the past, it makes that weight that we're going to experience with this, or at least the normal reader is going to experience, really hard, because I've always kind of felt, and after reading this first issue so many times, you don't have to explain everything to me right away. I'm patient enough as a reader that it takes a couple issues for certain revelations to come to light or certain things to be explained. That's cool. So, and I'm hoping that kind of what this may be with this, because I do feel like there are some things that are really quite different with the take on the character with this issue.
Yeah, I have to agree and kind of piggyback on that. The one thing I liked about number 1 in particular is that, like you said, it is a very big shift, in particularly Eric and Shanhara's relationship and just kind of the tone of the book in general. But I think it's probably best that they didn't try to cram a bunch in the number 1, and it was more just like a palate cleanser almost. Like, why you came here, and it's a reminder that all the parts of EXO that you love are still in here. But at the end of it, you're just kind of like, okay, this is definitely something. This is a fresh journey. You know what I'm saying? Even like the most purist, like 93 Valiant reader can like go into this and like not predict everything that's gonna happen, or just be, I don't want to say bored because that's a bad choice of words, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's very fresh. Like, it's hard to really pin down where it's gonna go until you get into like number 2, and I like that because with comics it's really easy to get stale. So to just focus on making it something just vibrant and fresh for the first issue, I thought was kind of genius.
I think you can tell some of that with the dialogue too, right? Like when he's like, "Get out of my ear," he's like, "I'm not a podcast." Like that tends to lead more to like a younger demographic, I would say. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I thought it was well done.
Yeah, I did think it was interesting. Was like, Shanhara, you never shut up. Why are you being quiet? And it's like, didn't we have a whole 50 issues of him not saying a word before too? So it's just kind of interesting that route. But yeah, it is. It does seem like they have that take of it that's gonna be there. And he's gonna be naked eating a deer out in the woods. Just totally reminded me of Beer Fest. If you guys remember that scene where he's, in the corner eating the beer. It happened again.
Yep. I thought that was interesting. I remember, like, in Kent's Run, they'd always have, like, those weird moments where he'd just be, like, naked in his house, And it's like, okay, at least Dennis read, some of the previous issues.
And I think Travis might be pretty upset because you're not getting the blue tail.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's where they left the last one, right?
The blue tail.
Where's Sean? One. Where is Sean? Okay.
They don't have to answer. I mean, to me at least, they don't have to answer where she is just yet. But hopefully, something gets mentioned within 3 to 6 issues of what's going on in Arc's life. That got him from point A to point B.
Hopefully, his best friend ain't banging her again.
Reveal... Go ahead.
I was saying, hopefully, his best friend ain't banging her again.
Yeah, his best friend is a kid right now, so hopefully not.
Homeschooled.
It's true. That'll open a whole new can of worms.
Sorry about that. Go for it, Ken.
XO to catch a predator. Oh, man.
Okay.
Is that the episode title?
Yes.
Here we go.
I think that's what happens in the yearbook.
Oh.
Good son.
Oh man.
Let me just say, I'm not mad if the direction of this series is that Arik gets over his drama and makes up with Shanhara, because I'm not sure I really appreciated or enjoyed that whole dynamic very much. I thought it was kind of weak. So their team, let's get back to that. Let's celebrate that as a new direction for the character.
I can dig it. I can definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's going to be like one of the main things that a lot of fans are looking at as the series goes on too, is that dynamic and that exploration of character, because there's a lot of like history with that and what it's going to bring into. But I think in typical Valiant fashion, it's a great entry point for new readers, and it's also got enough there to get like this is happening now, longtime fans talking about what's going to happen and how it's going to tie into what we see. But somebody jumping into this isn't going to be lost by any means.
Oh, I totally agree with that. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Ronnie, we didn't hear much from you. What about you, man?
At first, I was kind of skeptical because all the solicits said that it was going to be like a buddy cop thing, and I was like, oh boy, here we go. But like after reading the first issue, that dynamic you guys have already hit on between him and Shunhara is pretty amazing, and I like that. I want to see that going forward.
Nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Definitely.
So let's move forward and see what's coming in the near future that we've kind of seen, and that is one that I know many of us are very pumped up with a very amazing writer that does horror to the best degree out there, Cullen Bunn and John Davis Hunt. Man, this Shadow Man looks phenomenal, dude. You guys give me your thoughts. I want to hear it. Let's start off with Ken. Give me a shout out, man. Tell me what you're thinking.
Okay. So, Shadow Man is, again, like touching on what I was saying about EXO, where you want those flagship characters back. Like, could there have been a better time to bring back EXO Man of War? I mean, like, you got Final Witness, that looks tough in the horror genre. Punk Mambo was sick. They're gearing up for another Punk Mambo series. And so when you're digging into that whole, like, dark, grim element of Valiant, it's almost blasphemy to not have Shadow Man. The art on it looks awesome. I'm not usually a big fan of variants, but I'm probably gonna snatch up pretty much all of those because there's not a single cover that I looked at and I was like, that's kind of weak. Like, all of them are just rock solid, and just like the enthusiasm from everybody who's involved in the book, like, I'm talking to like Heather Antis and stuff, like, it's just I'm pretty much like a kid on Christmas, you know what I'm saying? Like okay, like if I just go to bed, it'll be there. But I need it now, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's
right.
Like, I'm excited for it. That's just all I can say is I'm ready. I'm about to like start doing laps around my house.
Heck yeah. And I know Nerdy Legion, you guys, Martin over there, you guys have a Cullen Bunn show. Man, what can you guys tell us on it?
On this book, I'm not excited for Shadow Man at all.
Okay.
That's a liar, pants on fire situation.
I'm excited. Listen. I'm not buddy with Cullen like Ronnie is. Ronnie has and stalks him all the time. That's not true, by the way. That's not true. But the guy is a freaking genius, and I think for anyone that's followed his career for a long time, his horror stuff is among the best horror you can get in any comic. And John Davis Hunt, I mean, coming off of the Wildstorm, he's a freaking genius too. So, just from top to bottom, this book looks great. Even just like looking at the logo, like this looks like a Shadow Man logo to me. And I think that says a lot to the amount of work that's being put into making this book what a Shadow Man book should be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Ronnie, where are you at with this?
Yeah.
This is, I know I've said it on our podcast before, but like this creative team is a layup to be awesome. I mean, Shadow Man going back to the horror genre, and then you got the JDH's art to amplify that. Dude, I'm all in. Even if I wasn't friends with Cullen, I'd be all in because this is where I want. This is where I wanted Shadow Man
Friends.
to be, from 2012.
Yeah.
And everyone should check out Cullen's podcast. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
It's him and his wife, so check that out.
What's that one called?
The bungalow.
The bungalow, yeah.
Ding.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
That's great. Josh, Eric?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, for me, Shadow Man's one of my favorite characters. So every time that we've had a launch happen, I've been really excited about it. And this one is no different, but I do like the fact that, like it's been said many times already, I love the fact that we're going with a more horror thing. Everything that I'm seeing from this looks phenomenal. The art looks great. John Davis Hunt's just an amazing artist. And I feel like after reading Punk Mambo, which I loved, it was one of my favorite things from last year, this is the right book for Cullen. So I feel like, just like for my own personal taste, this will be like one of my favorite things. I just feel like it's set up in a way where I'm going to be really happy with it.
Yeah. I think for me, you know, as much as I love Justin Jordan's work on Shadow Man when he kind of relaunched the character in the current Valiant universe, you know, I really liked that run, at least the Justin Jordan portion of it. The problem, though, and this was even a problem in Justin Jordan's work, was that, and I mean, it was okay then because it was the beginning, but at the time, Jack was like running away from being Shadow Man. And a lot of the stories was about him running away from being Shadow Man. And then a new writer came on and he was still running away from being Shadow Man. And then he ended up being the Magpie and he was running away from being Shadow Man. And then he came back out and we got what was still a really good book from Diggle, but he was still running away from being Shadow Man. And right at the end of what Diggle did, we finally got him kind of saying, like, no, this is who I am, and I'm going to accept it, and I'm going to move forward, you know, embracing being Shadow Man. And I'm so ready for a Shadow Man story that isn't about him running away from being Shadow Man. And that's what it seems like we're about to get. And I think that this is exactly what we need for this character. The interior art that we've seen so far looks amazing. It looks like it's going to be really dark and gritty. And I really love John's rendition of Shadow Man, the way he draws him without a nose, just the way that he draws the character looks really, really cool to me. And yeah, I can't wait to see how this book pans out and where it goes. I mean, obviously, I'm ready for the first issue, but I also want to see what it can be beyond that.
And can we, for the record, say that Magpie was the cheesy-ass name?
It sounds pornographic.
We all agree on that.
It sounds something like on...
But I think the look was awesome.
I like the concept. The name could have been better, but the concept was pretty tight.
You probably shouldn't Google it.
Until they were like, it was all in your mind, and then that was a little bit rough.
Yeah, don't Google that word, people. Might get you in some wrong places. Nick, Nick, which one is it?
Yeah, Nick is great. I think everybody's really touched on a lot of this. I mean, the creative team is just like easy hit. I mean, I think this one is immediately top of my pull list. Like I'm ready for this, but I don't expect anything less than greatness out of this one. Yeah. And I'm a huge fan of horror. I think this one, like Cullen Bunn's just gonna find his niche in this. But really, it's Valiant playing with genre that I'm super excited for. We can talk about EXO and the great sci-fi story that they're doing and move into horror, and it still be among the best on the shelves right now, well, available right now. And I think that's ultimately the thing I'm excited most for. Like the series is indicative of for Valiant's larger approach in Valiant 2020 is they're telling all of these genre stories that are really, really great and high quality already just from the previews that we've seen. And Shadow Man shows that they understand horror, and when they're ready to dive into it, you know, they're bringing the A game with this. Like, this is like top tier talent to take on a flagship character, and couldn't be more excited. This is right up my personal reading alley. I'm gonna buy every variant. The movie cover variants are just so cool. Like, I think they're hitting a lot of different notes for horror right now. And horror is kind of in a golden age, I think, in both TV and comics and in movies. So this is right in line with that just high quality genre work.
Yeah, I dig it. And this brings on a good subject, and you brought up 2012 and whatnot. And I saw some people talking about Diggle in the chat, and just kind of seeing where you guys think on, Valiant getting that basically their reload. They're getting into their books prime with Robert Myers being the editor, and what you guys kind of feel like the state of Valiant is with their characters. Because, Diggle got cut short, but now we're right here where we're at with Valiant. And to kind of get your guys' I know Valiant Central, you guys went off air for a little while and came back now. So, I mean, there's some stuff getting you back, guys excited about Valiant again. So just wanted to talk about that.
Go ahead, Martin.
Oh man, there's so much to talk about here. Yeah, I mean, we had publishing for a little while. I had decided to I didn't want to do the podcast anymore until I met Greg and some of the guys at C2E2 last year, and got really excited to kind of get back in things. And I think for a little while some of the crew was getting a lot of crap from folks, and I can maybe understand why, but not really. I think to me they all seem really genuine, and I know you guys deal with them as well off the podcast and stuff, but they seem really genuine and seem to really want to do a good job. I mean, right now I don't think there would be a better guy than Robert to lead the whole thing. I think he's a fantastic person. He's extremely bright, and I think he's leading back the stories in the right direction along with the rest of editorial. So I think it's really important, and I think the books right now are great. We haven't talked about Dr. Tamora yet, but I love the hell out of that book. It was great to see that come back after so many years, and it's you want to do something for everybody, right? You can't have one book that fits your entire readership, and there was just a conversation about doing these genre books. I think that's really important. It can't just be about let's just do a story that's bombastic and fun and gets us 20,000 new readers, because ultimately that's going to fail if the story's not genuine. And I think right now the books do really feel genuine and really strong, and I'm excited for what's about to come out as well. Final Witness, the Shadowman book. I'm sure we can talk about Savage at some point, and all the other unannounced things towards the end of the year.
Maybe
so
not.
I think it's a good time to be a Valiant fan, man. There's no doubt about that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I agree. Speaking to the Valiant employees that I am in contact with, they really clearly care about doing a good job. They want this to succeed. I think it's in good hands in that sense. And kind of, maybe we were in a transitional period for a while. We were exploring characters that are not the flagship, the tentpole characters. But really right now, this whole year, we were getting back into getting all those into circulation, right? Like EXO, Shadowman, Ninjak, others, right?
Whoa, so bro, spoilers.
No, we know Harbinger's coming too.
Comics Pro, man, they released it.
Yeah. I think I'll chime in real fast. I think since 2012, and we had the big launch, and then the change of the guard happened, right? And I think that was a part of the comics themselves. I wouldn't say suffered, because that's a wrong word, but I think the creators everybody was in a transition period, including the behind the scenes people, also the people creating, and the year 2020, the year of the hero, it feels like everybody on every book is like a slam dunk. From First Witness to EXO that just came out, to Shadowman that's coming out. So I think they're finally getting their footing where they want to be, and then all of a sudden the world goes into shutdown mode. So.
Yeah, I think I definitely agree with that. In seeing where they're at now, I love the promotion of Heather Antos and Lisa Hawkins. I think that direction for the future of Valiant is going to be really great. I really love the foundation that's being set with Valiant 2020 and this whole initiative of bringing those flagship characters and kind of like finding their footing, like you said. I think it's just such an exciting time to be a Valiant fan.
Yeah, and jumping in on mentioning like the 2012 vibes, I kind of feel like it's almost like a return to greatness. Not to say that Valiant wasn't.
Yeah.
2019 was a great year for a lot of books for Valiant. 2020, I mean, we're barely a quarter into the year, and they're just cranking them right out of the fence. And I think that this is like just a culmination of a lot of uncertainty. With the change of the guard, and then they're bringing in, quote unquote outsiders like Dennis Hopeless and Cullen Bunn, and these guys like Dan Abbott are doing Rai and Fallen World, which was freaking-tacular, and Rai is amazing. Even Tim Seeley on Bloodshot is straight up murdering that book. I'm pretty sure he's got a couple warrants out at this point, and but it's like, so it's a really, 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 really good time to dive into Valiant if you've never been a Valiant fan, or if you've been one for a while. It's almost like, like when you watch like The Sixth Sense or something for the first time, like a really long movie, and then there's like a twist, but the twist's actually good. So not like the later, I'm not sure about the movies, but like, So I'm just kidding, internet. Don't get mad at me. But it is. It's just a really rewarding time to be a Valiant fan, and from Mother Nick said with like the genres, there's literally something for everybody. I think Emily Hecht, she was on our show yesterday, and she mentioned that her thing would be, she would ask people what's their 3 favorite TV shows are, and then she's like, okay, that's how I would know what the perfect Valiant book is for you. And at this point, I think literally anybody who's generally reading Valiant can do that with any of their friends who don't read Valiant, or maybe if you were back at the relaunch, or if you're like, I don't want to like date myself too much, but if you were around back in like 93 and then you just haven't been in, like you can just hop right back in, and there's so much good stuff that you kind of have to actively work to find something wrong with Valiant at this point, It's a great time.
Agreed.
Point blank period.
Absolutely.
I think that we've touched on how great the Valiant was in 2020. I think another high point was like 2015 when we had coming out of the Valiant into Bloodshot Reborn and then Book of Death. I think that was a really high point in my opinion, and I think that this is the next really high point that we're hitting right now. And when we were talking to Matthew Klein, he said that in his opinion, knowing what's coming down the pike, the most exciting time to be a Valiant fan in Valiant's history is that month until next month, and then until the next month after that, and until the next month after that, because it's only gonna ramp up. And obviously he's got to say that, because that's where he works and that's what he does. But from everything we're seeing, it's hard to argue with him.
Yep. True. And I did think a lot of people. Go for it, Ken.
One thing I wanted to now that you mentioned Greg is, and that we touched on earlier, is like the genuine nature of everybody that's working on these books. Let's be real. If you've been in the comics game for a while, you can tell when somebody's pissing on your leg and telling you it's raining. It's raining. And when you look at, just even on say Twitter or whatever, and you see like the interactions with like Adelso Corona or Tim Seeley or Robert Meyer and Greg Katzman, like all the love for the work that they're doing is genuine, and I think that genuinely shows through their everything they do, from the promos to the finished work, everything, like getting this together. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not going to get that really anywhere else when it comes to comics.
Yeah. I'm glad I had you speak first, Ken, because I was going to go off what I said. the chat is saying thanks for putting this together, and a lot of that comes from Greg. And I always want to say that extra G in his name is for gangster, because that's what he is. Thanks, Greg. You are a gangster. We appreciate that, buddy. And but yeah, dude, all the way. This is it's getting back to that core of accessibility to the fans, right? We know those people that are making these books again as Valiant fans, and we're getting that. I don't think we got it so much with Illage. I think there was that little gap when Joe was there. And then I think once Robert got there, it kind of turned back around. Joe's great, and I love Joe. But I think that accessibility's returned. And that's one thing that's great, because we had that with Dinesh. We're getting that with this group now. And I think that's what's exciting about it. And we're getting these players back on. We're getting our kings and queens back on the shelves, man. They're back on the playing board. And, I think it's put in the right places. So got to love that. And, for that, Martin mentioned this one a little bit ago. And I think a lot of us are excited about this. And maybe my thing is not working on my... There we go. Little Savage coming our way. And we only had one arc before. But damn, it's such a cool character. And I think everybody's kind of excited for this.
Yeah.
All at once.
I'm going to have to just jump in, because this is like the Jurassic Park... meets like hyper action that I really needed, and to see this new direction is so wildly unexpected for Savage. I didn't see it coming from just the previews they gave us, but after that ending from like years ago from the first Savage arc, oh my gosh, to finally see it pick up, I'm so excited to get it in my hands.
Yeah, have to agree.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's been like a 7-year gap between Volume 1 and now Volume 2. But I think when you look at like everything that Valiant's done in the last year or so, it's again, just great timing to bring the character back. We actually ran a poll on our page not too long ago, just throwing out books that hadn't been around for a while, and I don't even remember all of them, but I think I threw in like Generation Zero, Britannia, and Savage came out on top is the one that everybody wants to see back. And then lo and behold, a couple months later, boom, like Valiant knows what they're doing, man. And everything I've seen of it has just been rock freaking solid so far.
Yeah, it's crazy too, because when the first series came out, it was so heavily underordered. And it almost seemed like just one of those weird glitches where no one really was paying any attention to this book coming out. Those first issues, especially the variants on those issues, are really sought after. And it's crazy the kind of demand that the characters have, where people have just constantly been asking for when we were going to get more of the character. I like the fact that even though it does seem like it's going in a different direction, it's still giving us a lot of that kind of like, him killing a bunch of dinosaurs action. Like, it doesn't look like it's going to pull any punches on that end. I'm really curious to see what some of this like other side of it's going to be. Especially when there's a cover of him that looks like he's from like a shampoo commercial or something like that.
He definitely would not be on this podcast.
I'm not quite on board with that cover yet. I mean, at the same time, though, I always feel like I'm willing to give the company the benefit of the doubt, and it's always worked out in their favor as far as my enjoyment of their books go because of it. So even with something like that where I'm seeing it and I'm just like, what the hell is that? Let's see it. Let's see how it is, and then I'll make an opinion of it. But so far, it looks really good.
Yeah, to piggyback off that, I think I'm going to say this on the 25th right now, that of all the books that are coming out, this will be the quote-unquote faith-like of all the books that are coming out.
Oh, are you trying to get me on this podcast? I mean, look, I try not to be negative, but I'm also very realistic. I know everyone's very excited for this book. I am cautiously optimistic.
Yeah.
And the reason why we could talk about it off the record at some point.
Right.
Hey, I mean, you're definitely. We're all here to talk about our opinions, so nothing wrong if you're not, 100% sold at this point.
I do like the art. I will say that.
Can I throw in? At C2E2, Ronnie and I had the good fortune of seeing like the retailer previews for issue 1, and I will just say that where it goes in issue 1 alone blew my mind. I'm not gonna spoil anything, but I did not see it coming. It's crazy. Ronnie, fair?
What?
Get it, Bull?
You broke up and I couldn't hear you.
Oh, sorry. I was saying I really didn't expect where they went in issue 1, and
Yeah.
it blew my mind.
Yeah, and that's very fair. And like, I felt the same. And then they released the covers, and then like I saw the hair one that Josh was talking about, and then I saw the emoji one, and I was like, sigh, eye roll, GIF, and we're done.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the pre-order one as far as covers, and I think that's left to be desired. But yeah, I feel like B. Claymore gave a slam dunk on where to get going on this. I mean, just where he left it, that last page of that first volume, it would be kind of sad if it doesn't start right there. Although I don't think it looks like it is. But that's kind of the thing that I hope. I haven't read anything, seen anything. Haven't even talked to Travis and Ronnie about it that have read that first issue already. But that's kind of where I'm at. So I may be sadly disappointed, but I just loved where he was at, right in the center of the town. Just right over the dude in the middle of town. Would have been awesome. But where we go from there is where we go from there. But also talk about it. I was going to say that 1 in 50, that's a rare book from the first volume, right? So, I mean, it's not one of those titles that jump out of them at people, right? So, hasn't been one of those titles, and I don't think it got a whole lot of, outside of Valiant Comics, hardcore, a lot of fanfare outside. So, I think that's going to be hard with the sales. So, we'll see.
Yeah, and it's probably smart to do this as a mini. I don't think that they want to put, I don't think that they're going to hold their breath that this is going to be a 10-issue series that is going to, sell massively every single issue. But I do think that a lot of people have been screaming to get this book back on the shelves and get a new Savage story. And Valiant listened, and they said, we want to do a new Valiant or a new Savage story. And we think that this is the best Savage story we can tell right now. And I hope that it pans out. That's all we can really do right now.
Yeah, the thing that I was going to say is I'm kind of a sucker for a character set out of time. So I like a lot of old Captain America stuff where it's a guy trying to come to terms with the fact that he now exists in the day, and he missed so much time. Same thing with Arcadacia, Exo Manowar. Like, there's so much interesting stuff that they do with him where you show him trying to adjust to the real world, which, basketball, that's like the new thing he's adjusting to, in the first issue. But like, to me, like, I'm a sucker for that stuff. I like that kind of thing going on in the book. So for me, looking at Savage, I do feel like I'm going to get a little bit of that, where you see a character kind of grow before your eyes and try to understand what's going on around him while, trying to access the modern world. So I think the character has always had a lot of potential, like in that way. Once he got to the real world and got out of the far away or wherever it was that he was at, I've just been waiting for that to happen.
Yeah.
And here we go, and I can't wait. Can't wait for it.
Let's see what we got next coming up, and that's EXO. That's Shadow Man. Bloodshot movie is I actually picked it up digitally yesterday. Watched it once. Had the lady who's never read a Bloodshot book in her life. She's like, I actually really liked it. So I mean, that's good for somebody who's never read it and they liked it. I guess that's who it's for. So
I do think that's who the movie is for. Is the non-fan. I don't think that they. I think that they put enough in this movie to say, like, hey, we acknowledge that the comic exists and that a lot of people really enjoy the comic, and we tried to, put some stuff in here to, to let you know that we acknowledge your existence and we do care about you. But this movie is for the average moviegoer. This movie is for someone who's probably not only never read a Bloodshot comic, but probably never read a comic book before. This movie is for people who, show up to Marvel movies and, other box office Star Wars movies. That's who this movie's for. and I think that it was made well with that audience in mind.
But the movie's also a lot smarter than people are giving it credit for.
I totally agree with that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you know, like there were so many people, and I'm sure you guys saw this too when the movie, the first trailer came out, where people online were like, "Oh, you know what? I can totally see where this is going," and I actually really appreciated the story. I thought the story was actually quite intelligent for what it was, and it was not exactly what I was expecting. You know, I don't want to give anything away. You know, I know people still haven't seen it. It had a very brief time in the theater due to the craziness of the world. But if you haven't seen it, and I'm sure this is the wrong people to say this to, but go see it. You know, I'm sure everybody has seen it at least once. I saw it twice.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Been working remote for the last 2 days, and it has been playing on repeat.
Nice.
And for the record, Hoosh, I'm not talking to you anymore since you put your Cubs hat on.
That was for you, buddy. That was just for you. It's okay. It's okay.
I would notice.
It's okay. I like the Cardinals football team, but that's about it.
Oh. Hey, at least we got an XFL team now, so it's okay.
They all just leave that town anyway. Don't worry. This movie was awesome. I got to go see it in a advance. Thanks for Valiant to getting that set up, because it was supposed to be Emerald City Comic Con, and so there was a good number of us that went to go see that, and it was exciting to see with fans. Were there things that I wish they would change slightly? Yeah, but it was fun. It was entertaining, and I think it's a good start. I think there was some news about Paramount and where they plan on going, and maybe they're going to buy the rights from Sony, something I've recently heard, which would be pretty cool. And maybe they're going to have a reboot already. But it's what we wanted.
Because it's from We Got It Covered, wasn't it? And none of their shit's true.
I thought it was. Sure wasn't Bleeding Cool? Wasn't Bleeding Cool?
It was I don't think it was Bleeding Cool. I think it was the We Got It Covered. And those
it definitely was We Got It Covered.
Okay, so it was false.
Because, but...
False. Fake news, guys. Trump is here.
Hashtag fake news. We got it covered.
Well, if you read the interview on the beat that Fred and Matthew did, there is a mention of this is the beginning of movies. So
yes, let's talk about that here in a minute.
Heard it compared to Blade.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of Blade, a little bit of Spawn in there. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah.
No, I heard it compared to Blade as Blade was Marvel's first try at a movie, and
wasn't Howard the Duck?
I don't know if you really count any of that, but
that doesn't exist.
We don't talk about Howard the Duck. I'm not gonna pretend like I did.
Actually,
for a long time or anything.
I like actually comparing Bloodshot to Blade than Spawn, but anyway.
They didn't make any Spawns. We can let that go. Going into this Bloodshot movie, I actually had the maitre d' or whatever, the ticket holder guy. I wore the Bloodshot shirt, and he was like, "What? It was made on a comic book." So me and him had, I broke it down for him, and so that made him enjoy it even more because he's like, "Oh, cool," casual fan. He'd read a little bit of Spider-Man, this, that, and the other. My wife also really loved the movie, and she never read Bloodshot. She's heard me, talk to the side of her face while she pretends to be listening.
Your wife should get along with my wife.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm sure they could form a support circle or something. Us mooks.
They have a chat somewhere else.
But they probably do, man. We just don't know about it. But I do think that it was a really good movie as far as reaching a larger audience. Whether you did or hated it, the bottom line is you're talking about it. Vin Diesel brings the kind of star power you want for a big action movie, whether it's a superhero movie or not. If you're going to you know what I'm saying? He's just one of those dudes that you're like, okay, at the very least, I'm going to see a bunch of chumps get wrecked in amazing ways. So that's worth an hour and a half of my time,
Yeah.
And, I liked a lot of the things that the original to like Wiggins, like dude, Wiggins.
Yes.
Yeah.
Wiggins was the man. KT was awesome, you know. So yeah, I would have maybe liked it if it was a little bit more tight knit to what we're, you know, the more familiar viewers were looking for. But at the same time, it's kind of like Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, his first two. You know, it's like there's a lot of changes, but they were all for the better. You know, so it's one of those things where over time, I think people will kind of get used to the fact that there are changes, kind of accept the fact that this isn't just a us thing. You know, I know when it comes to Valiant fans, we're like the scum on the show that, you know, we're getting like dollar paps and like ratty jackets and stuff. And like, you know, I get it. You know, like we're very tight knit and everything, but this is exposing Valiant to a huge audience, and I think the movie itself was fantastic, and just like all the hype for it, the hype for the streaming.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
This is IP. I mean, this is putting Bloodshot's name in a lot of people's mouths around the world. And I think that's bringing eyes to Valiant. And, you know, while you've got everybody looking at Valiant, this movie based on the best-selling comic book, you know, like we just talked about, you've got all of their flagship characters hitting. So I think that that's a larger thing here happening, and I think Bloodshot does really well for what it needed to do. And I think it's got that accessibility that I think is fundamental to Valiant and what they bring to comics. And I think anybody can jump into it, and it's just a really awesome time. Downloaded it as soon as it came out on digital, watched it a couple times already. It's just a really fun time. And, you know, while I would have wanted a larger connection to an expanded Valiant universe, I know that's not what this movie's trying to do. It's not trying to be that movie. It's something that you can watch in its entirety and, you know, get all the fulfillment you need out of it. It's a popcorn movie, and it's a blast. So right. I mean, I got what I wanted out of it.
Yeah, you know, I think like the only real problem I have with the movie is that, and it's just me, the comic book fan speaking, really, that I know what this universe has. You know, I know the things that are attached to Bloodshot, and I know, you know, how many degrees of separation you are from Toyo Harada and the Renegades and Gen Zero and all that. And that's the only problem I really have with the movie, is that I want that larger universe feel. But if you take that out for me, and I don't have to worry about it, it's a fantastic movie. It was a lot of fun to watch. And, you know, and the one thing that the real good purpose it served was that it forget about like how shitty the real world is for a couple hours. And when I got the chance to see it, that was something I really needed, you know. And while I don't know what the future of the franchise, I guess we'd say, I don't know what that's going to be yet, but I do hope that it really finds some life on digital and Blu-ray and DVD and all that, because it's a good movie. And if it's just, it's got the worst timing to be released right now, but more people need to see it.
Right. Travis, you were going to say something. We got from you.
On this, Travis, yeah.
Oh, yeah, sorry. What I was going to say, first of all, is my wife also liked the movie, and she doesn't like Marvel movies by and large. So take that for what it's worth. You know, it's like, it's not just that are into this stuff. Let me also co-sign to the idea that anybody that maybe might get butthurt about changes made in an adaptation needs to grow up, because if you've seen a Marvel movie in the last 20 years, like, they're all adapted. There's changes in everything. And those are done because the medium of movies is different than comics. And you're not selling a comic, you're selling a movie. So I think that, you know, the changes that were made for the Bloodshot movie work, and they're fine. Would I like a larger universe? Sure. You know, I would also say that any movie going forward needs to have the Valiant logo up front, not at the back of the movie.
Yes.
Like,
Yep.
You know, I've heard comparisons to Blade, right? Everybody's comparing it to Blade, as far as I know. And sure, I think it succeeds in the way that Blade did, creatively at least. But I'm pretty sure Blade probably had a card in the beginning that says Marvel. So why are you not doing that when you own the property? You know, it's a Valiant movie.
Yeah.
Like, put that up front. There was 20 cards before the movie.
It looked like it was a Valiant produced and did say like Valiant Entertainment, but it wasn't the logo. So definitely see that. And want to pick up on one thing is that KT would be the one to survive this plague with her whole thing. So that's why she rocks right now. But did you guys read the novel at all? Did anybody read that novel? I know Dinesh said don't read it, so I read it. Yeah.
I would get.
The
It's on my
freaking
list. The audiobook.
it's amazing. And the backstory of at the very end, after the whole thing is done with the movie, they do a backstory of KT, which I hope becomes a miniseries comic at least, was freaking great. Like that was cool to see her backstory, her like origin story of her getting in with Chainsaw. And I hope that comes out to be a comic. But like it was pretty darn amazing. Eric, you read it or audiobooked it?
Yes, I did listen to it, and there were some, like, for the most part, the movie follows the novelization like perfectly. But if you downloaded the digital edition, if you bought the digital edition and have access to the special features, which you can get on Movies Anywhere if you don't yet, what's that?
Oh, go on. You're kind of chopping, but go.
Oh, the special features. There's the alternate ending, and it shows this scene in a pool that was in the book, and that's one thing that I thought was really cool in the book. That I think, and it showed Bloodshot manipulating his nanites in a different way than we see throughout the rest of the movie. And I thought that was really cool. So that deleted scene was pretty sweet to see, and that was something that the book kind of fleshed out more than even the deleted scene did. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot. Honestly, going through the audiobook made me enjoy the movie that much more.
That's true.
Well, hey Eric, what was he wearing in that extra scene? From the pool. I want to know.
He was bald still.
Was he like a underwear type swimsuit, or like was he wearing like some big old shorts?
It was form fitting.
All right.
Oh.
Oh man.
Yep. Anybody else got anything to say on that movie?
I'm good.
Cool.
I think that's it.
And then Martin had talked a little bit about a little interview that went on, and definitely a great topic to be talking about, and that's some of the future things that may be coming that were kind of leaked out a little bit with Greg and what may be coming. So, did you guys pick up on any little nuggets that came out of that interview with Greg?
So one thing that he said to Outright Geekery is that a certain Valiant executive is a really big fan. When he was asked about future movies, he mentioned a certain Valiant executive who's a big fan of the Immortal Brothers. So I took that to be a hint that there's a chance that the next movie coming from Valiant won't be Harbinger, but something to do with the Immortal Brothers, which I would be on board for.
Yeah. I mean, if you gave us like Eternal Warrior, or like, I mean, to me that would be the better one to do first. Personally, I'm a big Laud fan, and I just think that what he does would be a great translation to the screen, especially if you can show a guy who throughout the centuries and maybe the world's greatest was there, just mopping up everybody. I'd love to see that.
Agreed.
I could see something like that, just because it would actually make Harbin, like Psyops in general, a little bit easier to explain, because you got like these three brothers that are immortal. Let's be real. Armstrong, Raleigh, you know what I'm saying? Wasn't wrapping it up. So there you go. That explains why there's people running around with psychic powers like out of the blue. So I think that would be cool.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah. That's the explanation for it. That's the greatest thing.
But I mean, I think that would be just really cool. And then like that Eternal War, I think it's one of those things, kind of almost like Bloodshot, where it's pretty easy, I would assume, to adapt Because for the most part, like, let's be real, if you go see Eternal Warrior, you want to have, like, cool dialogue and da-da-da-da-da and story and all that. But you really just want to see, like, dudes getting their heads cut off and, some machine gun. Like, it's a little bit of everything, because he's Eternal Warrior. So that would be amazing. Ivar, if Time Walker got a movie.
Oh, yeah.
I think something like Inception.
I think Ivar would be more like Amazon Prime or Netflix style series wise. I think that would be amazing.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. Yeah. That way you can let it breathe throughout so many episodes, and you don't have to cram a whole bunch of stuff into 2 hours or 2+ hours.
Yeah.
Half hour 45 snippet, but
Yeah, let me ask this. What Gilad story would you tell? I feel like, yeah, but that's tough to drop somebody into when they don't know who Gilad is,
Explain everything.
You do the story from the original 90s comic.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. That might work, yeah.
The one where you can't wrap it up, it's got kids everywhere, that.
And he wears the biker jacket.
Yeah, well, forget the biker jacket.
Well, now you're just talking crazy. Forget the biker jacket.
I would choose Raph personally. I would say that I'm with Josh. You could write Raph in a way that it would be accessible to a new fan, because all you'd have to explain is you have an opening scene where you see him die, and then the rest of the movie explains what he's about and how he comes back to life, and then that is a self-contained story that also sets up to for the possibility of a sequel.
There's a problem with that in that it would be somewhat similar to the Bloodshot movie plot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably true, because that sucks, but still, I have to stick with my answer, man. I can't go back.
I have to
like it though.
No going back.
I've kind of said this before, and lack of better names is Archer, the animated series. If they did an Archer and Armstrong animated series, kind of like Archer, the show, on Netflix, whatnot, that would be me all day long. That'd be my jam, because there is plenty of funny to be gone there, and you could do a Delinquents on that too, which would be freaking phenomenal.
Yes.
And run with that all day long. So, yeah. But yeah, any of those. I think we're all at the point where any of those, and give us more Valiant Comics, in other mediums, we're gonna be there to get it. That's just kind of the way I feel.
Yeah.
That most of us are saying. So.
Yeah, pretty much.
Sure.
definitely.
I think Archer and Armstrong would be a strong movie and would be pretty easy, for anybody to ramp onto in the way that it's presented in 2012. Question is, how big of a story you tell? First arc, first 2 arcs.
Don't take yourself serious. Yeah.
Yeah, but also let me just say that I talked to the Valiant guys, when the movie came out, and everybody was saying Harbinger's next movie. So unless things have changed in the last 2 weeks, Harbinger's next movie.
Yeah. Could be a lot to go there.
Fair enough.
So.
Yeah.
You just had to throw that little jab at all of us, didn't you? When I was hanging out with the Valiant guys at the movie.
Yeah.
Wait.
I said when I talked to the Valiant guys, which you
At the movie premiere.
Oh, now you
and
the after party.
Well, the funny part is the guy who mentioned it is the guy who's friends with Cullen Bunn. And a Cardinals fan.
I'm also friends with Dennis Hallam too, so I guess throw barbs at me out that too.
There you go.
Hey, Missouri's not a big place.
That's fair. That is totally fair.
Kent is also in Missouri, right?
Yeah.
What?
Isn't Kent also in Missouri?
Yeah.
Get on there, bro. What are you doing?
I mean, if we're taking about a Harbinger movie though, I really think they got to push this before they redo X-Men with Marvel Studios, to just to kind of prevent that launch from coming. It's time sensitive right now. You got to beat them before they do X-Men, because you're just going to get too many parallels that are being talked about. It's just got to be launched before that.
Well, and at this rate, they'll do a Harbinger before New Mutants comes out, so that'd be fine.
That'd be great.
Shots fired.
Oh man.
Too soon? Okay, too soon.
Never.
Too soon.
The shade was real. The shade was real, but I enjoyed every minute of it.
I do want to get everybody in the chat to know we are giving away some pretty awesome books today. Signed Fred Van Lente, Archer and Armstrong, Volume 1. Signed Joshua Dysart, Gold Imperium. Never Before Seen Yellow Bloodshot after party exclusive that Travis Williams was probably a part of. And then Bloodshot Limited Edition, Red Carpet. It's all there. So make sure you're letting... we got Josh Rathburn in the chat. Make sure you let him know so he can put you in his sweaty hat and coronavirus your name out of a hat. But, so we got a lot going on.
I've been writing down things the entire time. So please, if you haven't said anything, just say something so I know you're here.
I'm here, Josh.
Is it still standing room? Is it still standing room only in the chat room?
We got a lot of people here who are watching and listening.
Yeah. So yeah, quite a bit here. I mean, yeah, a number here. And put my name in the hat too, Josh. And I hope to get something. As long as you're in the U.S., let's put it that way. But offline, we were talking a lot about the things going down with the shut.
Eric and I will.
You guys stepping
Eric and I
down.
will split the bloodshot.
Yes. Down the middle.
Oh, like Solomon?
Whoa. Don't do that. Just alternate weekends, man. Just alternate.
Eric doesn't even collect every bloodshot anymore, so who cares? You can just keep it yourself.
Oh, I need it.
Shame.
Ouch.
I went there.
Shots fired.
I have a lot of bloodshot covers. I don't have every one anymore, but I have a lot of them.
Right.
I almost have enough. Just a few more.
And this contest is so good that even Shaves is eligible to win. So again, if you haven't said anything, say something in the chat so I know you're here.
Right. Well,
something that we also forgot that we were going to give away, and maybe this is an opportunity to do that as well, is Todd's Dr. Mirage trade paperbacks.
Yeah.
I would say this real quick. If anybody who wins those can also be eligible for the other winnings, because I mean, like, we have dropped the ball on those, and I'm sure a lot of people because they want to win like one of those really cool bloodshot books. I wouldn't really hold it against them if somebody won those.
Yeah. So why people are getting their names in there? Definitely, we had some chat offline talking about just like the closure of Valiant, the closure of comics right now with this coronavirus, and how some creators may be hurting. And we talked about maybe a kick or GoFundMe, and we talked big about trying to get their online shops. So that's one place where I'm gonna have people like basically really encourage, go shop online for the comics, get their creators sketches, give them some commissions, put them to work, and get some really cool things out of it. And I think that they would appreciate the work there and appreciate the art versus just necessarily giving them money too, though. But everywhere you could find it if you have the ability to do it and you were thinking about it. Right now is the time to really kind of break out your wallet if you have that ability to do that. Support some people.
Yeah,
exactly.
Think about
it like those old Everest commercials, right? Like, just sitting on the couch anyhow. Go out and support your favorite creators.
Right.
Yeah, man. It doesn't. Everybody's got a phone these days. You can get on the internet. You can go search any of those creators' names. Tons of people who are currently working at Valiant, people who've worked at Valiant in the past, and even the comics creators out there that you're a fan of who don't work for Valiant. You want to go out there and support all the ones that you can. And if they've got books that they're selling that you don't have, pick them up. You can get custom art from a lot of people. I know Rayford Roberts is still doing sketch covers and commissions and things like that. And I'm sure you can get those from a lot of the artists that we know and love. So definitely a great time to go out and do that. I'm sure that any of those artists, especially those who if they're living as sponsors, would definitely appreciate the work, the support, and also I know that from my experience, these creators always love getting to interact with fans of the work that they've put into the comics that they've been a part of.
Yeah, and I know that Hoosier was doing a thread on, I think, Facebook of some people's shops. We'll try and highlight them on Twitter also as we can, just so that we can get people's the word out. Because a lot of people are going to be hurting with this closure of comics, basically. So help out as you can. A lot of people have their comps still available to buy, so you need to buy some issues. I know Rafer. We bring up Rafer a lot. Rafer used to have a great deal where for like $25, he would send a shit ton of books. So a lot of people have a lot of copies of stuff available to sell, and just help out when you can, if you can. We know stuff for everyone.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
We will retweet it because we're lazy and don't just tweet out stuff from our show.
Oh. Yeah, and I think that goes said too is pay your LCS. If you got a box, make sure you're going there and paying that box at the LCS. Get your books. Public service announcements. But we want to, and Valiant's doing something huge too. On Valiant's Twitter, they're giving out basically digital books right now to kind of help you with your social distancing. And then we are hopefully trying to do that too by making you not want to be around people after you watch the show. Just say it.
It's too real. Too real.
All right. And
Is it time? Is it time?
Is it time, Josh?
Time.
Are we watching the UFC now? Are we having a UFC?
Something like that. So what's up first?
Let's go with the Archer and Armstrong trade.
Okay.
Any Christmas vacation fans?
People entered in this, and normally we only have when we do these giveaways, we have 8, 10 people. So okay, the first one, Tyler Griffith. So Tyler,
Yes.
Get a hold of us. You can contact us through Facebook. You can get a hold of us through Twitter, or you can getvaliant@gmail.com. Send us your information, and we'll get that to Valiant for you.
Yeah, so you just won an Archer and Armstrong signed volume 1. That's absolutely awesome. Congrats, Tyler.
That's awesome. It's a great
I got get out of what they won.
I give that book to a lot of first-time readers, and they love it. So, the comedy's great. So.
Yeah, that's a great book.
Okay, Hoosier, what's next?
Let's go to the other side. Let's go to the Black Bloodshot, because we all like that.
Ooh.
That would be Eric and Ronnie. And so,
Yeah.
tell them what they won.
An all expense paid by YOU.
Hey, so the winner on that Black Bloodshot book is Project Zach.
Project
So,
Zach.
Get a hold of us. We'll get that information to Valiant. And I'm super jealous. I've been looking on eBay for that Black Bloodshot book every day since I saw Valiant. Been the bane of my existence for the last couple weeks.
That was my phone wallpaper for the longest too. Such a cool cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, are you talking about?
Oh, here we go.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. That's right.
What's your address again?
Illinois.
So we got that one. Are we on the Yellow Bloodshot now? One of the Yellow Bloodshots?
Yellow Bloodshot?
Yeah.
Yep. And the winner is of one of those. 2 of them, right?
Yeah, we got 2.
Connection to the World.
Connection
Hey.
to the world. You win.
And he's contacted us before. He knows the drill. Get a hold of us. We'll get your information to Valiant.
Heck yeah. Dude, a fan favorite, man, Joshua Dysart. He's up next, that Gold Imperium. Dude,
Okay.
I want more Dysart. I know that's a dead horse for us fans, but yeah, have to say it. Oh, we are getting him. Free comic book day. Hopefully we get to see
It's
that.
absolutely amazing.
XO free comic book day Dysart, dude. Hell yeah. If that happens.
All right, so we're doing the Imperium Gold.
Yep.
And the winner is Dustin Wood.
All right.
Bam.
All right.
Congrats, Dustin.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so next, are we doing the last Yellow Bloodshot?
The last Yellow Bloodshot. Yep.
Okay.
Oh boy, I hope it's me.
did Bongo?
Yeah.
Darren Jomgard and
So the other Yellow Bloodshot will go to Chrome Pez.
Chrome Pez. Okay.
So-
Is that the same person as somebody else? Are they trying to get a bad idea comic and get two, or what? Is this happening?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
If you are, don't say that you did it.
Not Corona.
All right, then let's do. I want to enter everybody back in. I've got everything folded up,
Yep.
and let's give away Todd's trades because we have dropped the ball so many times on that. Okay.
somebody's gonna win some Dr. Mirage trades.
Yeah, that's so we didn't really talk about that. Todd has been next. He's got some signed Dr. Mirage trades, and he's been wanting to give them away.
One trade. He's got one trade. He's got one trade.
Have done the worst give. Yeah, we've done the worst giveaway ever with those. So we'll get those out right now. And the one on that one, is it one trade?
One trade. It's one
Okay,
trade.
just
He's
one.
not giving away the signed ones. He's giving away his extra one trade.
You know what? It's okay because the winner was Sean Hayes.
Sean Hayes.
He never wins anything on here. So
Been a bit.
Nice.
Right?
But it wouldn't be a good Valiant giveaway without him.
Not
Yeah.
good. Yeah. And I'm like looking at the shelf. What could I do? What could I do?
Yeah.
I don't really have anything left to give away. I don't have
No.
anything extra.
Yeah. And guys, there may be a delay in shipping for things outside of our control. Here we go. How about we do this? The local comic book show Exo Manowar Volume 1 Deluxe.
Ooh.
Let's do it.
Nice.
What?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yep. So,
One more thing away.
yeah, one more thing. Come on, guys. Let's do it. Let's be
Hey,
generous.
dude. Wait, there's more.
There's more. Billy Mays is here.
Okay. And the winner is. You know how unprofessional we are. We've just every contest Eric and I ever did, and now with John, we just pull names out of a hat.
Yeah.
Hey, you might want to check with this person who's your. I pulled out Chris Amundsen's name.
Oh, that's who I want. We'll have to figure that out. That's who I want
Sounds
this
like a
book
fake
from.
person.
Sounds like the Moose. All right, Moose.
Yep.
So, sounds good. Hey, I'm okay when they're local. Shipping's a lot cheaper. I still, Aaron Nagy, we need to hang out. We got to have a
Yeah, I
beer.
was gonna say, it seems like all of John's giveaways are local.
Hey,
What the hell?
you're the one pulling the name out of the hat in Utah. So,
That's true.
so
That's true.
it's all good. Man,
Hold on.
John Hayes. John Hayes says he's already got the Dr. Mirage, so somebody else can win that.
Okay. Well, pull one more name out.
what's it going to be?
Eric Dotson.
Eric
Hey.
wins.
Yeah.
Nice.
Heck yeah.
Congratulations.
At least an Eric won.
Finally. I just won.
Yeah.
Congrats to all of our winners.
Yeah. Hey, Aaron, as long as you don't have a cough, you could come get your Archer or your Quantum and Woody poster from me, and I could give you a beer. As long as you don't cough and have a fever. We're all friends.
Yeah.
So that works, man. Dude, this has been fun. It's almost things like this should happen more often with everybody that's here. It's a lot of people going on, but it's Valiant, which is what's awesome. So I appreciate everybody for jumping on.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Really,
Thanks for having us.
Absolutely.
Anytime. This was a blast, and we've known all of us have kind of known each other, here and there. So it's great to finally get to have some of you guys on here. Where I've known Martin forever, and I think I've known Travis longer than anyone on here that hasn't been on. I've got him at WonderCon a couple years back, and he really saved my trip. So good to have you on.
You saved my trip, man.
Oh yeah, your trip down the street. Whatever.
Shorter trip.
What were you guys tripping on?
No comment.
You don't want to know, man.
Oh.
We
Okay.
can't take Travis anywhere.
He was sober. I'm pretty sure he was sober.
Oh,
No.
Sure.
I was gonna say, are you sure?
So you guys do like Valiant Central. You guys do C2E2 all the time. This is a question. Do they let you have beer on the con, walking through the artist alley?
Oh boy, are there
Hell
stories?
yes. Hell yeah.
Oh,
Love it.
yeah.
We don't get that
Bad
fun.
decision. Bad
Yeah.
decisions abound.
Ha ha.
Mhm.
Oh, it's got to be one of the
I
next ones.
drank so much last year. I spent like $1,000 in a day. Don't do it.
How about that? Solar
No,
number
dude.
one? Solar number one? Magnus number one.
So what?
You bought Solar number one, right?
Oh, yeah, this one here.
It's a lot better doing that, waking up next to that, than maybe Ronnie. So that's cool. So, if you have the
That's me.
comics to pay for. No Coyote Ugly. Man, that's awesome. But yeah, just everybody for jumping on, dude. Valiant Comics Review. Check those guys out at onlythevaliant.com. Valiant Central Podcast. You guys are at nerdylegion.com. Is that correct?
That's correct.
That's right. Valiant Watch. You guys are at Comics Watch, right? And YouTube and a bunch of other things as well.
yeah, we're part of comic-watch.com. We've got a large network of stuff going on. It's just awesome to get into the Valiant community now.
Nice.
Dude,
Happy to have you.
Oh, smooth.
Welcome to the Nut House.
that's it. That's it. Where you feel kind of normal because
Welcome to the
everyone else
circus.
isn't. So, yeah, dude, it's awesome, guys, to have everybody out there. I know VCR's on our platforms. Valiant Central's on a bunch. The one I listen to is probably Stitcher with most all of you guys. So, yeah. So, I'll put some links in the chat below. So, if you're watching this later, make sure you're subscribing. These guys have great content. We appreciate it. So, anywhere else, Travis?
Absolutely.
Where are you at on the Twitter?
Oh, I'm at the Great Valiant. Or sorry, the Great.
The Great Valiant. That's pretty good. Does somebody have that one
I
yet?
got a new Twitter handle.
Dude, if nobody has that one, that one's pretty solid. So, and then Martin, where are you at?
I'm a Geek Bud.
Geek Vine. And Ronnie, where can people find you?
I'm at RomBar316.
Rombar 316. Oh, because
Oh,
Stone
hell
Cold
yeah.
said so? Right. And then Nick, where are you guys at? Or Ken, where are you guys at on social media?
We're at Valiant Watch, at Comic Watch HQ or Facebook, Twitter, pretty much anywhere you can find podcast, comics material. We're trying to be there.
Awesome.
Nice.
Awesome. And then of course we're
You
at
can even catch us on Reddit at Arts Watch.
oh sweet.
Ooh.
If you're brave enough. We're doing wild.
It's wild. I think Eric's the only one not on Twitter.
Well, Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going.
You're missing out, Aaron.
Dude,
What?
The shenanigans.
MySpace is dead. Get over it, bro. Get over it. MySpace is over.
No. I will never give up my MySpace.
He's still flinging it out.
He still loves that HTML, man.
Friendster.
Yes.
Friends.
Oh,
Friends.
MySpace.
I
Oh.
like to get out here and talk about my experience in my live journal.
But everybody,
Well,
okay, yeah, Todd has to post links on Facebook for everyone. Yeah, we'll definitely do that. But again, everybody, thanks for jumping on. It's been fantastic with VCR, Valiant Central Podcast, and Valiant Watch. Check them out, people. And you guys rock. All of you guys, can't thank you enough. Everybody who viewed today, thank you. Valiant family, you guys rock. And any Valiant guys on the
I just want
backside,
to
reiterate.
it's a great time to be a Valiant fan.
Yep.
Oh,
Amen to that.
So true.
I don't think we're signing off
See
today,
you all
Eric.
later.
I think we're rolling. So, V's up.